The latest arena news is that Caddo Parish President Stephen Jackson says, I don't think this is such a good idea. Didn't I see that, Parkey?
Yeah, and actually, if you go read his quotes, it's a little deeper than just not a good idea.
Well, I saw sort of the op-ed in the Times. It was a Times op-ed. What did he say?
His basic approach, and what I gather, interpreting what he was saying, again, don't want to directly quote without the quotes in front of me. They're cutting people out of the conversation, in his opinion, that should be in the conversation.
Well, one of the people he feels cut out of the conversation is himself.
Exactly.
He makes the point in the op-ed that he can I come to these meetings? Can I talk to you guys about this? I'm Caddo Commission President, for heaven's sake. And he says, no. He said that he was turned away.
And I think that was really what he was trying to articulate, is that there are people who, in his opinion, should be involved in this, himself included, that are just being left out right now. Again, the way that we do things, I'm not a huge fan of. I will say, and I have said multiple times this morning, I think it's a decent idea to look at and to keep going down the path until you hit that wall that you cannot overcome. And right now, I think a lot of the problems that people have brought up through this process have been a lot of speed bumps. And honestly, cutting people out of the equation, if they had 55 people on a committee to vote on it, we would sit here and say, you have too many cooks in the kitchen. What are you doing? This is getting too big. So at the same time that we would argue people are being cut out of the equation, we would be saying the exact same thing. There are too many people in the equation.
And yet you were swayed to a very impressive degree by it. You were not unmoved by the Tim Brando pitch on the website slamdunkforshreveport.com. You thought Brando was awesome. You said that yourself.
Absolutely. I think he has a great pitch, but it's not just that he's making a pitch. There's something already in me that he's playing to.
He sort of touched on the same thing Louis Avallone did in his op-ed for the Times that said, you know, we in Shreveport maybe need to get over this we're just Shreveport, nothing's going to go right, we're snake-bit mentality.
Exactly, and I'm a sucker. I am a mark for whatever level you want to go, nationally, mankind, or just Shreveport-Bossier. I am a sucker for believing that we're better than we think we are, and for having someone else push us just a little bit further to prove that we can do something that we don't think we can. I'm a cynical guy by nature, and so Shreveport, to me, is a perfect match.
I don't think you've got to be a cynical guy to have questions about this idea.
No. But
I think you don't have to be cynical.
But that's my natural default mechanism. I personally am cynical. So
what was it about the Brando pitch, the Brando video, that sort of made you swell up and be proud?
Because even though I am cynical, I still want to be better. And so when somebody plays to that for me, I'm a mark for it. I go to it. I follow it. So his idea...
In other words, you're being manipulated.
A little bit, but I'm open to it. Every level of advertisement is manipulation. If you've ever seen an image for a hamburger and said, I want a hamburger, you were manipulated.
But I don't think Brando in this, believe me, there's a reason Tim Brando has spent his career living here. There's a reason David Toms has spent those guys could live anywhere.
But they choose here.
But they choose here. So I don't think believe me, I think it's just the opposite. There is nothing insincere in my mind about Brando's pitch. He loves this joint. He'll never leave this, and you got to love Tim Brando for that.
And when that guy is telling you, look, collectively, we're better than we're telling ourselves we are. Let's give this a chance. The second thing was already in the back of my mind, and he just kind of helped open the door for it a little bit. If this is the point that you say, we're past the point of no return, we give up, we throw our hands in the air, then is the city just done? If you're not going to try anymore, if you're not going to try to make it better, if you're not going to try to revitalize downtown, if you're not going to try to jumpstart the system, take the city signs down and call it a day.
But on the other hand, here's the problem I have. And it has to do with the retail side of this, not the fact that corporate realty wants to come to town and invest $125 or $30 million. My problem is when you get this built, this retail area, because of its location, because it's the newest and the shiniest, it has to have probably the highest retail rent in town. What local merchant is going to be available to afford that? I would speculate probably not many, if any at all, which means you're going to get the standard run-of-the-mill national, not there's anything wrong with that, But you're going to get the standard run-of-the-mill Applebee's, Chili's, Dick's Sporting Goods, everything that already exists to a great degree on Airline and or Uri Drives. So, my question is this. There's not a lot of people live downtown right now. The biggest retail shopping days are the weekends. Fair enough?
Yep.
If you don't have anybody living downtown, if you have a minimal number of people working downtown, what people in Shreveport or Bossier City, specifically Shreveport, are going to go back downtown to frequent these retail places that are already available on Uri Drive?
And I'm not going to argue that point at all. And the other point that's being brought up that I can't argue is the wages, because people are talking about part-time jobs with minimum wage pay. I can't argue that. It's like with the aquarium. The aquarium seems like a great deal to a lot of people. And when they had the job fairs, everyone got really excited about a ton of jobs that all turned out to be part-time, 12-hour-a-week minimum wage jobs.
Yes or no? The real key to all this is getting the arena built, the hotel, all the retail outlets, and getting ourselves into the not so much G League stuff. I mean, that's like the cherry.
That's the sexy part.
But it's really getting into this traveling team AAU tourist thing where you've got 100, 150 teams coming to town for these big tournaments.
That is 100% what this is. This is getting those AAU teams, 2 parents per player, hundreds of players, hundreds of parents, families coming to town for a weekend.
That circuit.
And giving them something to do once they get to that hotel.